Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also catch me on my Facebook page, True Divine. On Twitter and Instagram, it is The True Divine. Please excuse the very noisy house today. We're getting lots of stuff done in the house, and I haven't quite got all of the soundproofing done on the office yet, so just bear with me and my family. So this is the free content that I put out. It is the daily energy reading, and it is for the 29th of June 2020. And we've been having a difficult time of it. There's no denying it. We're going through huge change. There is no denying it. There are huge shifts happening. There is no denying it. There is a spiritual battle on, as well as a physical battle on, and there is no denying that we are at war. Not in the sense that we've come to know war, but in the sense of things are being made very apparent. Of the war of the mind has been shown, because it has been set out in such force, to such an extent that, you know, there are things being shown to us that ways and means of having controlled us, having manipulated us, having keeping us boxed in. All of those ways are being shown to us, and for the people with eyes to see and ears to hear, it's becoming very apparent. So on the bottom of the deck for the 29th of June 2020, this is the Queen of Cups, underpinning the whole reading, so the theme of the whole reading. But of course you can see she's in reverse. Her cup is emptying all over herself, so that speaks to either you in your individual self, or you can see it on the collective stage, where there are people who are being triggered so easily and spilling out their emotions, their reactions, being very reactionary for all to see, and mainstream media being all too eager to feed into that narrative by making them the main headlines, the main source of entertainment for all to see and experience. So even if you're not experiencing this in your individual life or within yourself, it is very hard to contend with. You are sort of continuously battling to be the Queen of Cups upright, to keep that cup upright, because there is huge attack upon the emotions, upon all of those things that would make us reactionary, that would make us do and say things in a reactionary way, that if we were in our rightful state with the Queen of Cups in an upright, we would never ever do or say. So that's the underpinning of the whole reading. The first card for the 29th of June 2020 is a major arcana, and it's the Hermit card, is number 9. So this speaks of the silent warrior. The Hermit card for me always represents the silent warrior, a little bit like the spirit that won't speak on, I think it's the Christmas Carol. It just shows these visions, he shows these snapshots, and for me that's what the Hermit does. He just holds up the lantern, and he is an ultimate warrior, because to embrace the energy of the Hermit, we embrace self-reflection, we embrace self-knowing. Know thyself, O healer. You are the healer of yourself. You are the best doctor in all ways for yourself, but that's only if you are brave enough. And I talk about bravery with the Hermit card, because we do have to be very brave to overcome the training and indoctrination that we've had to always look outside of self, to always praise and worship things outside of self, to always reflect on things outside of self rather than within. And so it speaks of, as a kid, feeling and visualizing all of the times that the teacher would ask you to write about yourself, to put down the things that you thought you were good at, the things that you thought represented you. And it was one of the most difficult exercises for everyone in my class to do so. And it speaks of, even as a child, even back then, we were already indoctrinated to not praise ourselves, to not worship ourselves in a whole way, in a beautiful way, to not love on ourselves, because otherwise, if that hadn't happened in at such an early age, why would we find it such a struggle? And not just one or two or three people in the class finding it a struggle, but many or most, in my experience. So that speaks to the high level of indoctrination that is passed down from generation to generation also. And where my parents were very humble, they'd been made to be humble in a way that was unnatural, in that they would let people do and say things that would belittle them. They were very young parents, and so that gave a lot of ammunition to the extended family to do that. So that I took that on board. And so if you think about children today, if you think about ourselves today, how much harder is it today when we have the likes of the social media, that is literally an exercise, a psyop, to create a fake identity, to create a fake life, a fake persona. And so we see these perfect marriages, we see these perfect friendships, we see these, and yes, of course, some of them are very genuine, but on the whole, there is a lot of, there's memes, for goodness sake, and we can almost assume whatever there's a meme about, there's some truth in it, because it touches people, otherwise it wouldn't exist as a meme. So in our modern day, how much harder is it for ourselves and our children to self-reflect, self-love, and heal thyself? So you're invited to do the very thing that is so important right now. Not one person can change. These hijackers of the system that we've been living under have been here for so long, and they've passed the mantle down from generation to generation. So just as I mentioned, it being difficult when I was a child, doing the self-reflection, the writing about self, how much harder is it now to do so with all of these things that those that control us have gotten better at controlling us and taking us outside of self. So be your own warrior today. It is the universe is screeching out to us to say, do the inner work, be the hermit, because not one person now can go ahead and change and take these pirates, these hijackers, out of our out of the positions that they sit in so high above us, and drop their rubble for us to catch from up a height. Not one person can do that. The invitation is to be strategic, to be the warrior that literally it heals thyself, that self-reflects upon self, that learns how to love self. Because if enough people do that, then we are raising our frequency, we are raising our consciousness, in that we are living in our truths, we are living on our true path. We are learning how to use and rebirth and re-navigate the powers that have been held back in us for so long. That is what will cause this huge wave of change. That is what will cause the possibility for us to remove these hijackers and allow creation to be creative, to be flowing, to be everlasting, to be infinite as it is, and to enjoy a golden age where we can recognize our true powers, where we can truly make these illusions, these lies, these manipulations go away, these divisions. How can we ask to be united as one, no matter what walk of life we're from, no matter what religion we're from, no matter anything like that, if we are living outside of self and we are divided within self? If we are divided within self, then we cannot we cannot possibly expect that our immediate circle won't be divided, won't be filled with lies and manipulation. We can't possibly expect then the next ring, around us. We can't expect that unless we are whole in ourselves, unless we know ourselves well enough, unless we get comfortable with this self-reflection, self-evaluation, healing thyself. It speaks to the anointing within. So, again, this training for outside of self to worship certain deities, gods and goddesses, yet the very god or goddess that resides within us is ignored, isn't appreciated, isn't known, isn't exalted, and isn't used in our daily practices. To do this, we need to get good at taking time with self, and for every darkness there's light. And so this lockdown has caused many people, thankfully, to take the time that they didn't have before to self-reflect, to meditate, to learn how to be comfortable with self. On the opposing side, we see that, on the opposite side, we see that some people have gone crazy in that they've had mental breakdowns. They're emotionally spilling their cup everywhere because they would rather do that, anything but take time out and be comfortable with time alone and time for self. And so we see these two sides that are very, very different. And it's for us to know that no action right now that we can do on the outside can cause those two sides to come together and hold space and time for each other and grow together. Right now it is all about the individual transformational journey, and being an example to those who are struggling to do so, rather than holding them at gunpoint and saying, you need to listen to this, you need to know that self-work is the way to go. That's not going to happen. It's not going to work. There is treason here. There is treason against each and every one of us. There is treason against those that are in control. There is treason against our existence, against our system. There is corruption afoot. We can't possibly, with this Hermit card, we can't possibly expect to be able to see that for what it is and the truth behind it if we don't have our inner light shining. You see how this inner sun, this heart chakra reflecting the sun, and it's shining the light down, it's shining above. And we see that, the third eye is wide open, because we're doing the inner work. We're switching back on. We're navigating our inner universe. And therefore, when we can do that, our outer universe has no choice but to reflect that of wholeness and of balance if we take on board this Hermit card. The second card being the Water Prince, so the Page of Cups. So we speak of, with this, the outside world. There's a lot of messages today regarding money worries, regarding financial collapse, regarding things that have been expected, but they're being put across in the messages on the wider stage as being unexpected. Unexpected money worries. And again, this is all to draw you outside of self. This is all to make you worry about the very thing that has been scripted and created to do so. For this, on the individual journey, taking the outside away from it, this is asking you to be your own messenger, deliver your own messages, use your imagination to picture yourself going in your inner universe and finding out all of the crevices and all of the parts of self that need to be known, that need to be recognized, that need to be healed and transmuted into something good. It speaks of proposals of all kinds, and right now there is the temptation of all of these different ideas and proposals coming from political parties in particular. And by that I mean even these movements, these scripted movements. There's proposals of all kinds of how they go forward, of how they'll fix things, of how they'll do that. Again, this is to be shed away right now. The universe is asking you to concentrate on your individual journey, and the promise is there that that will have a real effect. It's the only thing that will have a real effect right now. So be your own messenger. Deliver your own truths regarding your emotions so you can get this queen turned up in the upright. The third card is another major arcana, and it is the Temperance card. It's a Sagittarian card traditionally, and this speaks of balance. This speaks of patience and moderation. It speaks of the middle ground, in that taking no sides, being in your inner grounds, in the middle, and in that place of balance, in that place of wholeness, you can transmute any energy that comes towards you, whether it be negative or positive. You can transmute that into something that is usable, something that is good for you. It's only indifference that this card won't deal with. And so on the collective stage, we can see how the invitation to show indifference to the outside world right now will have a major effect on how effective they are at pulling people outside of self. So this middle ground is very important right now. Right now, on the greater stage, on the wider stage, there is no grey area anymore. It's literally black and white, red and blue. To be on the fence is almost a swear word, but on the fence is exactly where we need to be, to have this self-control. This card also speaks of self-healing because it's in the inner grounds, it's in the middle, it's in this balance here. So where you shine your light, you can absolutely transmute those energies and heal thyself, oh healer. It's freedom from addictions. It's freedom from addictions of all kinds, even addictions to the outside world and certain aspects of the outside world that want to divide you, that want to make you weaker, that want to make you think less of self, and choose less wholeness for self, the good things for self. It is the art of alchemy. This card is the ultimate alchemist, in that, like I mentioned before, even the most negative energies, in the energy of this card, you can transmute them into something good, because whatever is being thrown at you today that is you deem as negative, use that in conjunction with this Hermit card to look at your reactions, in conjunction with this Queen of Cups in reverse, to look at your reactions. So if you put her in the middle, to look at your reactions and say, so okay, so where does this come from then? Where does this wound, where does this hurt come from? Otherwise I wouldn't be reacting to it with anger or upset or feelings of betrayal. So say you feel abandoned by a political party, let's say, or a lover or a partner of any kind, a friend. Look at why are you so triggered by this? What feelings has it created in you? And track it back. Look in every crevice and every corner with this lantern that the Hermit invites you to use, your inner light, to look at, so okay, so where did that get in? Was I this abandonment feeling? I feel like I've been abandoned from this political party, or I've been abandoned from this friendship or this lover. So, but it's killing me. I'm spilling my emotions out. I'm being reactionary all over the place. Why? As a child, were you abandoned? Were you betrayed by somebody who, in every sense, should love you and protect you and stick with you? So that's just an example, but it's an example that a lot of people are feeling today, guaranteed. So using these energies in conjunction with one another, being that ultimate alchemist to even use the most negative things that create the most negative reactions out of you, to use them as a tool to say thank you. Okay, I'm going to look back and see where that got in, where that trigger point got in. I'm going to track back and I'm going to extract that. I'm going to debride that wound. I'm going to clean it out, and then I'm going to let it close up in a healthy way, layer by layer. So it's a process of this is why we say do it daily meditation, daily inner groundwork. It's very important to keep yourself in balance, to keep yourself in flow, and keep yourself untouchable by the outside world that would seek to harm you. And I'm not talking about Mother Nature. Mother Nature is exactly what we need to be in right now. I'm talking about these also 3D aspects of the system that we've been living under, and that has created these beings on our individual level and on the collective stage level that would seek to harm, that would seek to cause harm. I know, listen people, I know this is heavy, and I know this is hard, because it feels like salmon swimming up a stream, in that, you know, we are having to put in such a concerted effort right now to stay in balance, to not be affected by the psyopses that are going on, that are trying to affect us so much. And it's because they are putting a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of effort and time into doing so. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. I can tell you why from my point of view. It's that they know that they are hijackers. They know the expansive power that you have. They recognize that you are an infinite energy, that you are an infinite source, you are an infinite connection, creative connection to the creative source, to the all. And so it stands to reason that they would put so much energy into it, because if you were to realize your true inner alchemist, your true inner healer, if you were to be able to love on self and transmute things for self, then they wouldn't exist. So right now, the reason that things are being, the energy is being put in and the money is being put into such a powerful halt and hold back and stop on our energetic flow, it is because they know that tick tick tock, boom, the time's up, that they're being seen for what they are. But again, it is up to us in the collective, in our many, to do this individual journey. That's what will end this treason, this corruption. Because right now we have been treasonous, if that's a word, to self. We've become complacent with the sacredness of our energy, of where we put our energy, of what we give our energy to. And one way or another, we have all been guilty of feeding our energy into a corrupt system, into a side, into a one way or the other, a black or a white. So we are asked to do the inner work first, because that is where the main treason is being held. That is where the main corruption is being held, in our inner grounds, deep, deep within. And so I know this is a tough time. I know this is a harsh time. But it is a time of great excitement, because on top of all of this, shedding all of this away, this is a time where many people are realizing the expansive power of that they hold within, the direct connection that they have with creative source, the true love of the all, the true love of the connective tissue that holds us and all things all together, all matter, here to experience in this realm, to feel and touch and see, and for us to be a part of a huge change, a huge shift in where our reality goes. And so the choice to do this work is the choice to literally enroll in our own army, enroll in something that is worthwhile. When you look into your child's eyes, whether that be a niece, a nephew, a son, a daughter, a grandchild, a brother or sister, when you look into their eyes, when you see their face, you realize why you're putting the effort in to do this, why you're putting the effort in to bring this reality about, that they might experience the connectedness to all, the bliss and joy of that whole experience, rather than having to put in the same fight that we are putting in now. So let's not be complacent anymore, and let's actually, on top of all of the shittiness of it all, let's look at it as well as an exciting time, as a time of looking back and having real grandparent stories to tell, that we were part of this. We were the adults that were part of this. We were the adults that helped usher in the reality that you experience now, child, that you know now, that you know this bliss, you know what it is to be connected to the all, you know what it is to be free to channel your own individual powers and your own individual creativeness, and to have it seen and to have it exalted and to have it praised, and to have other people enjoy it. Child, this is what we did. Think of how powerful that conversation will be. Think of all of the lessons that we're learning right now. As harsh as it seems, we're going through boot camp right now. And so we are actually a place in time that is really the explorers of in a long time. I'm lost for words, but you know, it's a huge gift to be here right now. It's a huge pleasure to be here right now, because within all of this shittiness, let me say, I have found such beauty that I will never forget. I have found such wholeness that I will never ever forget. I have found such bliss and joy in looking and watching other people grow that I will never ever forget. That on my deathbed, I will not regret being a part of this right now. I will not regret putting this free content out right now and fitting it in a busy day. I will not regret a second of it, because it has brought such, within this darkness, the light of all of those things that I mentioned has been so bright in my life. The people that have come into my life, the people that have even come and gone, and the gifts that they've left, the self-reflection that they've caused. I thank you all, and I send my love out to you all, and I do not regret 1 second of being a part of this. I do not regret 1 second of speaking my truth, of speaking my heart, of speaking, of using my gifts to be able to help others along this path. And I thank others for using their gifts toward me to help me on my path. It is true reciprocity. It is true love that I have found throughout this whole experience, this volcanic time where the pressure is gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining. But you know, at the same time, that beauty, that wholeness, and it's so subtle. Again, the headlines would want you to just see this in reverse. Yet this subtle beauty that is touching every individual's lives right now, if they look for it. It's there. And so I'll stop ranting at that. That is for the 29th of June 2020. If you would like a private reading with me, if you think I can help you with any energy work, any spiritual guidance, also get in touch with the details below, or message me on my Facebook True Divine page, because if you message me in my private messenger, things get lost. I get a lot of messages in there, and so I do lose things. So please keep any sort of business to the True Divine page itself on Facebook, and then I can get back to you quicker. I can see your need, I can see your message quicker, and we can get something set up much quicker. So much love. and be balanced, and as always, stay whole. Mwah. Love you all.